Picks and bans. Gonna give him a second to do some trades because I noticed that people were doing a few different champion trades, which is nice to see. I haven't really seen it done too much before in our ranked workshops. It's a sign that people are starting to be able to communicate better in champion select, and that's an important skill to have. Being able to avoid being counterpicked, to get priority picks that you might not want to play but your team does. Those are good things to do. It's not required, but it can improve your chances of winning. As far as picks and bans go, on blue team we have banned out Kha'Zix, Kassadin, and Vi. Love those bans, those are great. On purple team we have Yasuo, LeBlanc, and Blitzcrank. Agree with all of those, except I don't think Blitzcrank is worth banning. I would ban Thresh over that. I would ban Mundo's still pretty scary. I don't know, there's a lot of champions you could ban, and Blitzcrank not played that often anymore, and just isn't the terror he once was. As far as picks go, they have a Zed mid, a jungle Eve, an AD carry Ezreal, a top lane Mundo, and a support Leona. I like the AoE that they would have between the Eve and Leona ults, and the Ezreal ult, of course, going straight across it. And in the meantime, you have a Zed to sort of pick off really squishy targets, really priority targets. If Nidalee gets fed, which Nidalee usually does, then that Zed is going to be a very useful thing to have there. And then they have some decent peel between Leona and, of course, Mundo's cleavers. So Mundo will be a good front line there. Leona will be a pretty good front line. Overall, I like that team comp. It's pretty good. It's not perfect. It's not like the most amazing champions of all time. I think Ezreal's a little bit underwhelming right now, but overall, it's a pretty solid comp. On purple side, we have an AD carry Lucian paired up with a support Karma. That's a very high poke lane, but not very good at dealing with hard engages. So they have to be really, really careful of Leona diving in onto them. That could put a lot of pain on them, especially early game. Top lane is a Darius, played by Ancient Renegado. A jungle... oh, interesting. Okay, so they have a jungle Nocturne. We don't see Nocturne played that much anymore. I think he's a pretty good pick. He's not as strong as like a Kha'Zix or a Vi or a lot of the like flavor of the month really, really strong junglers are right now, but he's still a solid champion. Nidalee playing his Nidalee. I'm surprised it wasn't banned. He plays it pretty much any time it's open. It's very solid. He uses it well, and he's proven that he knows how to deal with his counters. He knows how to play with a team that's either ahead or behind, so no real complaints there. And of course, we already mentioned the Karma. Karma being a very strong poke support, but not very good in terms of tanky hard initiation like they have on the other team. My only concern here is if purple team doesn't get ahead, they don't have an incredibly strong front line. Darius is pretty beefy if built tanky, but it's not like he can just walk up in 1v5. It's not a Mundo where you reach the late game and even if you're behind, you're going to be incredibly beefy. He just doesn't have that. He usually has to build 1 or 2 damage items, and even if not, he's just not quite the threat that you might see from other common top laners right now. Nocturne often built damage. I would prefer to see Nocturne build a lot of defensive items like a Randuin's, that sort of thing, so he can jump in with his ult, slow them, lay down some pain, and hopefully live through that engagement. That being said, it really boils down to style of play. Both teams have a lot of strong points going for them, especially the poke coming out from purple team. The Lucian can stall based on his ult late game. It's like, I think, 25 seconds or something like that, or 20 seconds with a decent amount of CDR. He's going to be able to ult every wave, so it's not like they can just push in and end that easily. And of course, then you have Nidalee chucking spears. You have the Karma throwing out mantled Qs. It's pretty powerful poke comp. I'm going to close that down. Yeah, giveaway is open until the end of this game. So you have lots of time to enter, lots of time to let your friends know, and we will be doing more workshop games after this, probably about 3 more. So if you want to join into those, make sure you're in the chat room so that we can contact you and get you into the next games. Hopefully the invite bug will be fixed, and we will not have to manually send people the information on how to connect. But if not, we'll make do. We'll try and make this work for you guys. I'm going to eat a pizza pop, and then we will get going. I'm so hungry. Alright, so we see both teams loading into the game now, moving out of base and trying to set up some early jungle protection, that sort of thing. I haven't noticed before, actually, what Nidalee starts. Alright, so she's actually started Q. It's a viable option. Personally, when I played a lot of Nidalee, I would always start traps, and my reasoning being is that a level 1 Spirit, yes, you're going to land a lot of damage, it's very useful, you set up lane dominance, and that's a great thing to have happen, but traps are going to save you from so many invades, it's going to secure your junglers so that they can then help you. And Nidalee pre-6, while she's not that high kill potential pre-6, she kind of doesn't want to be shoved into her turret permanently. She can miss some CS, she can have some issues if bullied heavily. So setting up those traps, I think you can place something like 6 traps before blue spawns if you rush right out of base. That will set you so far ahead in terms of map control. Again, starting Q is fine. Just want to offer that as a possible idea for her to do in the future. Outside of that, actually I should line up these champions, I apologize. There we go. All the starts are pretty much standard. The Doran's shield on Zed is actually a really good choice for him. I see a lot of Zeds still trying to start with a Doran's blade, and oftentimes in mid lane you're going to be zoned, you're going to take a lot of harass, and so you're going to be farming with skills. So that health on hit isn't going to affect you as much as you might hope. And as a result, Doran's shield, it's going to save you from a lot of harass coming in from Nidalee using her auto attacks. So I like that choice. I'm just going to keep an eye on it here. I want to see how he plays his early level 1 to 2. It's possible he has a binding issue because he decided not to stay in range. As Nidalee, I would appreciate that I'm now going to be ahead in experience because he missed a CS, like a full CS of experience. That being said, Nidalee's level 1 to 6 is not that potent in terms of kill potential. Top lane we see Darius trying to harass in a little bit, but as a result he is pushing the wave. So as Evelynn, I'd be trying to move up there if at all possible. Obviously she has burned through a lot of potions, so we'll see if she is able to show up. But as Darius, I'd be thinking, I'm pretty shoved. Evelynn's pretty good at ganking. I might want to back out a little bit. I'm going to rewind this and see exactly what set this fight up. Oh, so Leona goes all the way in, and that allows Karma to set up a shield, a lot of poke, and then they're just able to combo that in. I've seen a lot of interesting starts from Karma players before, myself being a Karma player. You can take E at level 2 if you're trying to avoid being engaged on, or you can take W if you're going for a kill. Alright, here we see a lot of poke going down onto Ezreal. In the meantime, Evelynn is moving up top lane. This is a very dead Darius if they land this. I'm assuming it's going to be a flash blown. Maybe still he'll die. Yeah, there we go. The final cleaver lands, followed up by... oh, sorry, I guess the hate spike landed first because Mundo got it. But either way, very, very good job. Maybe it was Ignite. Either way, it goes over to Mundo. That's going to put him really far ahead in this lane. And in terms of Intermedigado's Darius, that just boils down to pushing too hard versus a jungler you can't escape. I'm going to speed this up a little bit so we're back to where the game is live. Interesting. So Zed actually decided to try and force an engage. If I were Evelynn, I would have tried to go in behind so that you could have landed some damage on there. That would have been a kill. Either way, the barrier is blown by Nidalee. And Eve's just moving into the jungle here and is going to get caught out by... Ooh, this could be a kill. Yeah, that's going to be a free kill over to Nocturne. So that's really, really good for him. He's denied those double buffs, and Eve without blue... Oh my god, this bot lane. This bot lane too good. Karma lands a Mantrid Q onto Ezreal, follows it up with a lot of auto attacks, shields herself from the Leona engage, and then they just follow in onto the Leona. So Karma just absolutely decimating this lane at this point. Very, very impressive. She's abusing her early game damage and just saying, you want to try and fight me? Well, it's not going to work out well for you. And so just constantly shoving, poking, shielding to disengage fights, just setting her team so far ahead. At this point, they're both level 4, whereas Leona's still level 2. And of course, Ezreal's still level 3. Another gank coming in here. That's going to be another kill over to Evelynn this time. And that's again just set up by Nidalee being pretty far forward and Evelynn being a true terror in the jungle. If you are versus someone who's playing an Evelynn, personally I always suggest that you just kind of hug your turret. You just assume that she's always there waiting, unless you see her on the map. And that's why keeping an eye on other lanes is very important, regardless of where you are, what champion you're playing. Because you get an idea of, okay, their jungler has just done something. We know they're in top lane, we know they're bot lane, wherever. And you can use that to play accordingly, whether it means you need to back out because they're going to cycle to you next, or if it means that you need to play aggressively because you're not in danger of dying. Nice pink ward, actually. This is going to be a kill over onto Mundo. Definitely, definitely. Mundo tries to ult, not enough to save him, and point goes back over to Darius. They're pretty much even in CS. Darius is going to build up a little bit of an advantage here from that kill, but no one is completely decimating the lane at this point. Someone in chat is asking, as jungle, you build Eve AD or AP? Right now, well, always, you build the Lizard Elder because it shreds. They have changed Eve so that her E, I believe, does physical damage. There's a lot of different options, but yes, the most viable and most common Eve builds involve things like a Lizard Elder. You usually will have a Blade of the Ruin King in there so you can chase down targets even more effectively. And then you're also going to just build like a lot of tanky items. Usually like Sunfire, Randuin, Spirit Visage, that sort of idea. Again, dependent on the matchup. Leona, I believe they're actually going to be a double kill here. Karma should be able to follow that. Okay. Good choice going with a Mantrid E. I would have expected to do a Mantrid Q to try and slow them even more and burst them. But regardless, that was really good. Lizard Elder doesn't work on Eve Q. Yes, they changed Lizard Elder almost exactly for that reason, because she used to be able to proc it. She's still going to proc it on auto attacks and E. So it's still perfectly fine. Looks like they're going to take away first dragon onto purple team here. This is a really good choice. They've taken down bot lane. They've already essentially won bot lane. So why not go for an objective, get some global pressure for their team? That nice gold advantage is going to put them... any disadvantage Darius might have had originally from that early death, it's completely made up for. He's ahead in CS now from that previous kill, and now he also has a little bit of dragon gold. Nidalee trying to protect the pink ward, not going to be able to do so though. That's why I generally don't suggest putting pink wards in jungle like that. Or not jungle, in river like that. Oh my goodness, this Karma! Karma Lucian is one of my favorite bot lanes. Hey, Evelynn coming in behind. I think she should just retreat, and she seems to be doing so. She would essentially be in a 1v2. Leona's only level 4, so unless they try and turret dive her and she stuns them or something like that, Leona's not going to be able to clean that up. Leona is not that fed. She has 1 kill and 1 assist. Zed trying to roam up top lane. This will be a really good gank if he gets it. Darius has actually wasted his pull. Mundo pulling him into the the bush, and he is able to follow that in with an ult and a lot of damage. Should go down to the ignite, ends up flashing and auto-attacking. I think that flash auto-attack was probably a good idea. The potion was ticking, he probably would have been able to live. In the meantime, Nidalee Nocturne trying to respond up to top. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make anything of this. Nidalee doesn't have that much kill potential, and Mundo is pretty beefy, has a Giant's Belt already. In the meantime, Evelynn coming up, going to cut them off. They can turn this into a relatively easy 3v2, but Nocturne engages earlier than expected and takes down Mundo. Yeah, if Mundo was just a little bit more passively and stayed alive, I think they would have been able to turn that fight. You see the amount of damage Evelynn's putting out here. It's a pretty terrifying thing, her just rushing out of jungle with that. Evelynn going to put some pressure onto the turret with Zed. I'm not sure they're going to be able to take it down, but they're going to get a lot of damage onto it regardless. Good choice. Just taking away whatever advantages you can get. That's a lot of red wards, purple wards there. Yeah, see, like, that's a nice pink ward to have, but how are you going to defend it? I would expect them to just sort of show up and... I would expect the purple team to just show up and clear that. Nidalee trying to sneak in behind. That sneaky cougar. And she decides to go back mid instead. She's losing a decent amount of farm to turret here. I don't think anyone's going to catch her out, though. Nocturne's back up top lane. I'm not sure if Mundo knows. He's not on any wards. The only ward is in the river. Nocturne going to walk over the ward here, but if Darius gets a pull... No, Darius backs out. He's standing on a ward. Why is Mundo not running? Okay, so Mundo, you need to watch the map. That's really, really bad what just happened here. He stood directly on a ward, and you did not retreat. Second complaint being that Darius didn't engage. Darius should have been able to pull in and set up an easy play there. I'm going to back up and see exactly what happened with Zed, but it looks like... Yeah, able to get in. Ezreal ult comes across. The Eve ult comes across. Leona ult comes across. And free kills over to Zed. Zed's probably going to go down here. So that's going to be double returned. Oh, nice juke. Very nice juke, but nice cleanup there by Nidalee. Really respectable play. Might even get a 4th kill here. Wait on the W. Nope. Exhaust goes down. Heal saves her from the tower. At this point, she does need to get out because the rest of the team's respawned and going to be able to try and cut her off if she were to stay or chase. Mundo just pushing up. This turret still hasn't gone down, which is a pretty good thing for purple team. It's really low. I would expect to see that be the next thing focused down by blue. They need to get some global gold back onto blue team. Bot lane is so far ahead, they need to essentially accelerate the game in a way that gets them some global gold so their bot lane is a little bit more influential, and then force some fights with their AoE ult combo. Nice spear dodge. In the end, though, they are going to just sort of focus him down. And that is a very dead Zed. I don't think the ult was a good idea. You would have needed a full another set of cooldowns in order to take someone with you, and that's a reasonable long cooldown. Like, how long is it? Oh, you can't select him when he's dead, apparently. Can you? Yes, you can. Yeah, it's like a 2-minute cooldown. Oh, Lucian, you're so mean. Raptor attacks. Yes, we are doing more games. We haven't chosen people yet, so you should be able to get into it, no problem. Darius putting a lot of pain onto Mundo. Mundo activates his heal and is probably going to just tank through this. That's Darius just not realizing how much healing Mundo can pump out. Dragon has respawned. No team has moved to try and take it yet. Interested to see if blue team's able to secure that, because at this point they are down about 2,500 gold, which is pretty significant for only being 15 minutes into the game. And there goes the turret, which I said, yeah, they needed to get that advantage, get that global gold back into their, at least somewhat back into their favor. If they were to take Dragon, that would be yet another push back towards viability, essentially. There is no Vi in this game, Brian. Shut up. It wasn't a pun. No, Vi's not in the game. Fuck you, Brian. Maybe. Nocturne coming around mid again. Yeah, okay, he does get caught out by a ward. He reacts in time and is not going to get taken down. Nothing really going to happen here. Nocturne just backs out. Might be able to catch Leona, though. Leona thinks she's catching a Nocturne, and instead it's just her walking in possibly to her death. She is able to escape. Lucian ult, not enough to take anyone down, but the fog does come out from Nocturne. Spear misses, and unfortunately that's just a little bit of split focus. If they went onto one single target, they would have been able to get that, I think. But that being said, they do force 3 people back to base, and as a result are going to take a free dragon. It's Duskbringer, right. I'd called it the Fog, because it looks like fucking fog. In the meantime, Zed pushes up mid a little bit. I think he's going to be able to respond in time and actually escape this. A good play from Purple Team would have been to try and collapse in onto him, noticing he is pushing up. Darius, exactly the same thing is happening as before, where he just gets not necessarily caught out, but he tries to fight Mundo, and Mundo is just not someone you want to deal with. Duskbringer does connect with the Mundo, but no way Nocturne's going to be able to clean that up. How do you join the workshop game? There is a YouTube link in the chat description there, where Brian goes over like what the room names are. Basically, just join the different chat rooms for the role you want to play. So P4N mid, P4N top, P4N support, P4N AD carry, etc. And then we handle matchmaking and invites from there. Even Zed shoving up mid again. Let's see if they're able to make anything happen this time. Not a whole lot of damage has gone down onto this turret. They basically just push in to try and force the Nidalee to stop roaming, but it hasn't really stopped her so far, so it's not really been of much use, besides denying a couple CS. Yeah, Zed's only ahead by about 25 CS. And given that Nidalee has 4 kills, and a completed Hourglass now, I'd say that's a worthy trade for Nidalee. Again, Renegado trying to fight here. Takes a lot of damage in return. I'm interested to see what he's trying to build towards. Is it a Ninja Tabby? That'd be a Sunfire Cape, definitely, but I'm not sure what the longsword's there for. Probably Lifesteal. Bot lane trying for another fight. Culling goes down, not going to be enough to take down anyone with it. But Nocturne ults in and cleans that up nice and quick. Fear goes down onto the Leona. Tether comes out from Karma. Snare not really needed, but a second kill for lovely, lovely Nocturne. So at this point, they're pretty much just going to trade towers. Nidalee is not going to be able to save this 1v3. In the meantime, the 3 that are bottom are going to just take that tower. That goes in blue team's advantage because they're getting an inner tower for an outer tower. It would be a good idea to try and force the second because you can see that blue team is going back, but I'm not sure if they're going to do that. No, looks like they're going to try. Now it's Ezreal who's trying to defend it, and Ezreal not going to be able to hold 1v3. I would have expected them to just go in onto Ezreal, but I don't think they have enough lockdown, I think is what they're thinking. Ezreal comes across, and turret goes down. So, good response by Purple Team, saying, okay, they're taking our inner turret, we've taken their outer, they're not going to respond quickly enough, let's take theirs. If I were Evelynn, I would have tried to move up into the jungle side, so that way you could try and cut her off. There's a lot of blue team bot lane. I would expect them to want to push in this bot turret. That'd be a really good play for them now. They want to end this laning phase. It's essentially over. Lucian, Karma definitely won that laning phase, but you may as well take the gold, right? Take the tower, cut off anyone who tries to save it, and set up some kills for your team so that you're not nearly as far behind. At this point, they are down, again, still about 2.7 thousand gold. Karma tries to go in, gets engaged onto by Leona. Then the rest of the purple team collapses. Good spear landing onto Mundo. In comes Evelynn, lands an ult across. I believe that was 3 people. Darius taken really, really low here. I would expect Ezreal to be able to poke that a little bit more. Ezreal does still have ult. I don't know why they're not fighting here. Karma's staying way too close. That flash wasn't needed. Eve coming in, Mundo coming in, and down goes Karma, and then immediately after she dies to a spear. That's just the team being way too... Oh! Nice spear, but I think that was just luck. That was just very, very split focus. I don't normally do this, but I want to actually rewind and play that back in slow motion, because there's a couple things I noticed in that fight. Okay, that not far back enough. Okay, so I think that's a bug. I don't think that's actually where Ezreal is. Karma comes in, lends a tether onto Leona. Rest of her team is coming, so she's perfectly safe as far as she's concerned. She has the shield on herself. Duskbringer comes in onto Leona. At this point, though, Lucian is not here yet, and Evelynn is not here yet. At this point, this is a very tempting AoE combo. They should be able to land the Evelynn ult combined with the Ezreal ult straight across them, and that should be enough damage to take down at least 1 or 2 people. The Evelynn lends her ult here, misses, and Ezreal does not follow it through. Again, Ezreal's just completely out of this fight. He keeps walking in, wants to fight, walks out. He's not actually casting anything. He's not doing anything. If he had ulted across that fight, Q'd across that fight, W'd across that fight, they could have re-engaged and won. And now at this point, Lucian is here, and they need to just retreat. The fight is over. They need to back out. Karma then tries to go back. This is a free kill if they wanted it. They don't go in. They got spotted. And then Ezreal finally decides to fight, realizes, wait, I didn't actually want to do that, and has to flash out. And then once again, he goes right back in afterwards. Like if you see here, this is a great combo by those two. Ezreal finally ults, doesn't quite get them, and then he's like, oh, well, better join the fight now. Why didn't you join the fight earlier when you could have actually been a use? So that, I'm not blaming Ezreal for that fight, but it certainly didn't help. Someone in chat mentioned Ezreal needs to stop using his E. Yes, E is for cleanup and reposition. Don't use it aggressively unless you know you are safe, unless you know you're secured the kill. Yeah, I don't make a habit of fast-forwarding fights, or rewinding and doing slow-mo fights like that. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking on my ass. And yeah, Ezreal never really joined the fight, but constantly stayed to take harass. And purple team's now just going to siege mid turret and going to take that away. That ult was not necessary. There was no one to follow it up. And now they're going to get collapsed onto. Leona in behind, able to engage here. Good AoE ult this time. Ezreal finally, this time, does join the fight, does use his ult across it. Lends a lot of damage in, and they easily win that fight. That's exactly the combo we should have seen down at Dragon, and blue team could have been in the lead now if they had really wanted to. They would have been 2 fights up, they probably would have taken a tower, and now they're going to take a dragon. I just want to remind people, the reason I'm saying I'm not trying to blame Ezreal, I'm not trying to be negative, is because these are a positive environment. We do not rage. We do not want you insulting anyone. It doesn't matter how good or bad someone is, they're here to play and learn. So Ezreal's here to learn. Why would I insult him when I can just say, yeah, that was a bad play, you should try and do this next time. That's how you learn. Good chase in by Evelynn and Mundo, perma-slow followed up by great DPS. At this point, I would suggest trying to retreat out a little bit. Italy landing a lot of damage is able to get... Oh my lord. Okay, so as I said, that's just blue team overstaying. They're overstaying, getting collapsed on, and they lose any advantage that they might have had. Ezreal farming up mid. He has his Trinity Force finished now. I would like to see a Bloodthirster from him. You need the damage, you need the lifesteal, so that you can safely join fights. Blue team being given away to Nidalee. Again, this is not an easily defended pink ward. It's a fine position. I'm not saying you should never do it, but you need to be paying attention to how the lanes are pushed, how the waves are positioned, and how far ahead or behind your team is. That determines where you place wards. They did get Ezreal's flash just by walking up to him, essentially. Leona engages in, lands a lot of AoE. Zed lands a lot of AoE. Ezreal lands a decent amount of AoE. And again, this is the AoE wombo combo that I was talking about, that if they land it, if they're together as a team and positioned properly, they should be winning team fights. But the problem is, they seem to win a team fight and then overstay and get poked to death. They're going to take away this tower. That's a really good advantage for them. I would probably be retreating at this point. Steal away the red, push in top, push in other side lanes or whatever, but staying when they're all respawning within 10 seconds is generally not a good idea. This is a good play, though. Yeah, definitely. Just take away the free tower. Mundo can tank it almost forever. So that's a fine play. There's no real risk to it. But now, again, you need to disengage. Leona's trying to engage. There's no point. You need to disengage. You need to run. Nocturne's going to follow that up. Karma's going to get a lot of poke on. And here goes Nidalee to clean up. Exact same problem we mentioned before. You are overstaying. You need to take an objective and immediately retreat. I have nothing but praise for blue teams comboing and team fighting when they're in position, when they're together. But then they seem to immediately throw after that. And so you need to be careful. Not able to get Nidalee. Didn't expect them to, but it's always interesting to keep an eye on it. He didn't really cheat into the workshop. I didn't specifically invite him, though. That's fine. Alright, so now we have purple team collapsed onto mid. They're going to take that away almost instantly. But again, Wombo combo comes in. They're able to take down the Lucian. The Leona ult was overkill. He was already dead thanks to the death mark from... It is death mark, is it not? Yes, death mark from Zed. He was already dead. The Leona might have been able to ult the rest of the team and set up further kills. Darius, in the meantime, responding with a tower of his own. Good play there to take away what you can safely. Evelynn should be able to... No, they decide not to go in on that. If he had his shadow, his living shadow up, he could have comboed in onto her. Alright, here comes the triple combo of Nidalee damage. No. No Deathbringer lands. Spear does, but not quite enough to take them down. Nidalee is a fine pick for mid. It requires a team who can turtle, though. I don't know if she's... I'm assuming, yeah, Evelynn's disconnected. I was going to say, why are you standing there? They have sight of you. Nocturne ult comes in. Duskbringer lands, not able to get the Fear Tether on. They do land it onto Mundo, though. They're going to take away a free kill there. Evelynn has reconnected now? No. I think we're just paused waiting for her to reconnect. In the meantime, I will show you who has entered the giveaway at this point. We have 42 entries. If you are on this list, you are entered to win. I'm pretty sure everyone has. Again, keyword being workshop. I'll just scroll up one more time so you can see it all. Nidalee is an alright pick mid. She's nothing crazy, but she works. I like how the spell effects just loop when we're paused. It's so relaxing. The pause music is very spoopy. Keep in mind that in order to win, you must be following the stream. If you are not following the stream, we will re-roll and give it to someone else. I want to send a thank you to all of our new followers: Money D. Luffy, Deprobro, Umami, Jopi the Ruler, Alfeneta, Rachkaslav, Marcus Sination, Gamel Panda, Van Marine, and Angelo Monala 9. Thank you very much for your support, guys. Unfortunately, right after the pause, Ezreal gets taken down. A lot of pings coming down on Baron from purple team. I'm not sure. I think Evelyn didn't reconnect. Oh, there she is. Good, good, good. Yeah, this is the build you would expect to see on Evelyn these days. Karma does have her Liandry's. Liandry's is amazing on her. I think she's going for a Rylai's. I've mentioned before I'm pretty sure to use Snow Prince. I don't think Rylai's is good on Karma because all her skills already kind of have CC on them. But it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Nocturne, in the meantime, is bot lane. He's going to pick up a lot of farm here. His items, he's pretty much all damage. I'd expect to see the Spirit Visage coming out from after this wave. And I would hope they can then use that to try and end the game. Interesting. So instead of going for a Bloodthirster or any sustain, Ezreal seems to be going towards an Infinity Edge. That's a big misplay. You need lifesteal on an AD carry, or you're going to be zoned. Blue team does pick up the dragon. They need to not chase. They need to not chase here because there are ways to split up. Ezreal's not here, Zed's not here, and you're going to get poked all throughout their jungle. They have some decent warding from purple team, and so if you were to chase, you're just going to be hit by Karma Q, Nidalee Q, and then you're going to be hit by the Culling. It's going to be really, really painful. Good choice not chasing. Zed split pushing up top lane is a awesome choice because at this point he has double buffs. He has all the damage he needs in order to one-shot anyone who shows up. I'm interested to see... He went Black Cleaver instead of Last Whisper. We would usually expect to see a Last Whisper instead. He didn't clear this ward. When you come across a pink ward, try and clear it if you can safely. Pink wards are objectives in and of themselves. Alright, now he sees it. Good. Breaks the tether and is able to escape at the cost of his flash. Mundo caught out. I think he was trying to go up there to maybe save Zed, but Zed's already out. That's a misplay. You do not want to be caught alone or you're dead. That's a very aggressive build, Registeel. You need to build tank on her. Tank Evelyn is what it's at. They're using that advantage that they have from killing Mundo to take away Baron. Abusing numbers advantage is incredibly powerful. They land Mentored Q on Leona in the meantime, does engage, Evelyn engages, and this is going to be an easy, easy fight for blue team if they follow through. Ezreal comes across, clips a couple people. Ezreal is now here. Evelyn's still alive thanks to her tankiness. They actually got Baron as well. Good job. The Q connects, and the burn from red buff gets it. Nice, nice, nice. There's the Wombo combo again from blue team. Now, let's see here if they can avoid throwing right after, like we've seen in the past. If Ezreal avoids getting speared here, he does, good. Then they're going to be able to pressure this tower relatively easily. I'm not sure what he's doing. It's like he's trying to assassinate. Either way, they get the inhib tower, and probably the inhib. At this point, you need to retreat. They're coming in. Yeah, don't retreat there. Good. This time they're deciding to retreat when they are still able to. If not, Nocturne's going to combo in. If they land like a Karma Mentored Q, then they're just going to use the speed buff, they're going to Nidalee Spear, and they're going to Nocturne ult into the middle of your team. Plunk goes the spear. Nidalee has her Void Staff now. I would expect to see Deathcap next. Good choice with the Void Staff. I think I've mentioned it to her before, though. I can't really comment on his build because he's a better Nidalee player than I am. I'll give him that. In terms of Nidalee mechanics, his are pretty damn good. Karma needs to be careful. If Leona were to have engaged there, Ezreal could have possibly cleaned up the kill very, very quickly. Infinity Edge finished on Ezreal, and now it looks like he's going towards the Last Whisper. Still no lifesteal, so any long-duration fights, in these poke fights, if he gets poked at all, that health loss is going to stick. I like this split. They have the 2 mid and 3 top. The most common one we see done is like 3-1 lane, 1 in each side lane. But in this case, with mid and hip down, this is a pretty good option. Leona ult lands across, able to zone Nidalee out of the fight. Culling comes in. Culling landing onto Zed, but not able to take him very low. Ezreal ult then comes across, and here goes all of them, pretty much. Nidalee able to escape, but unfortunately, when you have a team that can hard engage, Nidalee has a hard time because she needs to be able to just stay and poke. And at this point, they don't really have any disengage. And that was one of the worries I had. Karma slow is pretty much their best disengage, and that's not going to stop Leona. That's not going to stop a Mundo. Leona tanking this up. They're going to take away a 3rd inhib. Nidalee Spear lands in, and as a result, they're not able to take it. Ooh, good dodge, Leona. At this point, she is kind of caught out, though. She needs to go heal. She's not going to be able to defend this, no. I think this is game from blue side. 25 seconds left on Nocturne. That leaves it 4v5 with 3 inhibs down and super minions rushing into the base. I would say blue team had better end this right now. A little bit off on the Zed combo. Ezreal gets taken down really low by a spear. But it's not going to matter. Oh, Nocturne ult comes across. Able to escape it using Living Shadow. Yeah, so they didn't end up ending. I think they just spent too much time trying to fight rather than just end the game. At this point, blue team, again, learn your lesson, go and heal. Good defense by purple side, though. I will give them that. I would expect Darius to be more tanky. That's one of the reasons they're having a really rough time. Both him and Nocturne have built damage. You need a front line. You need someone who can say, no, you're not getting past me. I'm an immovable object. And either of them could accomplish that goal. But with so much damage on him and no lifesteal, that's going to be difficult. I would have expected to see like Hydra, Sunfire Cape, Randuin's, Guardian Angel, like a lot of mixed defenses and a lot of AoE debuffs or damage. Zed's gone for the Sword of the Divine build. Oh, LCS. Sword of the Divine is never a good item, but it works on Zed kind of because you want to pump out as much damage as you can during your ult. And so having 3 automatic crits at 100 and, what is it, like 160% attack speed? 145. at 145% attack speed is very potent. Triple AoE ults come across, Randuin's comes out, and this is going to be game. Instead of chasing it and trying to get kills, just attack the Nexus. And that is game. Okay, so quick comment on builds. Ezreal, no lifesteal. That was a big complaint that I had against him. Lifesteal would have allowed him to win a lot of these more long-term fights that they were having. It worked out because they had the Wombo combo. But if he had had like a Bloodthirster as a second or third item, he would have been able to sustain back up from having been poked low by the Karma, Nidalee, blah, 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 blah. Evelynn, no complaints about that build. That's actually really good. A lot of tankiness, some decent AD scaling, and some chase potential. So good job there. Zed, I already mentioned that Sword of the Divine is a gimmick build. It's no different than building like a Sword of the Divine Malphite, which isn't good, but it works. Mundo, standard build. Leona, standard build again. These are all just, they're much. I would normally expect to see a Talisman of Ascension on Leona rather than a Tarragon's, because it gives you an option to hard engage, essentially, or hard disengage, by giving that huge movement speed bonus. And also, of course, you have 20% CDR from it. So more ults, more engages, more shields. It's just a really good item on Leona. Either is viable, though, so I'm not saying you had to build it. I'm just saying you might want to consider it next time. My main complaint with Purple Team, they had no tank. They had two people who could have built tank, and neither of them did it. I would have expected to see a little bit of lifesteal from Darius as well, probably a Hydra as his one damage item, and then probably expect to see some more tankiness, like Randuin's Guardian Angel blah, just general bruiser items, really. Nocturne, his build is fine. It's sort of a mix of damage and... it's a mix of damage and defenses. It's fine. Lucian, standard builds. I'm assuming that was building into Guardian Angel. Good choice. Nidalee did what she could, but unfortunately not able to hold out the game. My main complaint, Nidalee was a fine pick. She did very well, but they had no hard disengage on their team. Their best disengage, really, was Karma. And Karma is just a slow. They're going to be able to dive through it. The build on Karma, I would not expect to see Rylai's. It's kind of not worth it on her. Also, I didn't look at your runes before the match, but this is 40% CDR between those two items. So if you are running any from runes and masteries, that's a waste of CDR. In terms of damage dealt to champion, Nidalee had a significant lead above everyone else. Karma did some great damage, as she usually does. And then, of course, we had Evelynn and Zed popping up pretty high as well.